All right, so we got beef right now between Corey Overtime Anderson and Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill, the number one light heavyweight, number one contender in the light heavyweight division in Bellator, I believe. Not the champion. Going back and forth with the UFC's light heavyweight champion. And I think what started this was Corey Anderson did this interview saying that there was like a tournament in the UFC, like if he was in the UFC himself and Vadim Nemkov, that like the three guys that I guess would come out on top in a tournament in the UFC would be himself, Vadim, and then Magomed Ankalaev, because Corey Anderson mentioned how Magomed arguably should be champion because he did defeat, or should have defeated, Jan Blachowicz, but it was a draw. That I do agree with. Magomed Ankalaev should have came out as champion in December, but due to bad judging, it led to different circumstances, and Jamal fighting Glover, and then ending up beating Glover for the vacant title, But arguably, it should be Jamal right now as a contender fighting for Ankalaev's belt. So Corey, in a sense, has a point, and of course, Jamal didn't take kind to this statement, because Jamahal Hill stuff he was pointing out is that when Corey was in the UFC, he never really showed to really be on that top level, and that all he really knows are naps, and he pointed out how Jan Blachowicz did put him to sleep. But you know what? Jamal does raise a good point, because I don't know who has he really beaten in the UFC, Corey. I mean, his best win I'd say is Glover, but come on, Pat Cummings, Alir Latifi, lost to Blachowicz, and then he's beaten mainly Cans in Bellator, and then Ryan Bader, which was actually a good win, and then lost to Vadim Nemkov. Although I do think Corey could be UFC level. Like, if he was still in the UFC, he'd probably do well. But I don't know if he would be a champion, because I don't know. Walker in a rematch might be able to beat him. I'd say Rakic beats Corey. Corey would beat Blachowicz if he doesn't get caught early and it's a 5-rounder. He could drag it out. He could drag the fight into deep waters and melt Jan Blachowicz like Ankalaev was doing. He could actually defeat Blachowicz. I'll give him that. He just got caught. Ankalaev, I think, would beat Corey. And Yuri Prochazka, I mean, Corey has a good chance. He's got good boxing, and he can land right, and he can hurt people. And, Yuri Prochazka can be all over the place. He can get sloppy with his defense and get cracked. But Yuri Prochazka does have good takedown defense, and he does have a striking and power advantage over Corey. More than likely, he might put Corey Anderson to sleep. So yeah, I don't know if Corey would be a UFC champion, but all this talk led to a Twitter back and forth. And Jamal was using a lot of MMA math in his recent video, and that, triggered a response from Anderson saying, "Oh, sweet booty boy Jamahal Hill and his feelings talk about MMA math. Didn't you get your arm snapped by Paul Craig? So that'd make him the best. I toasted the 44-year-old guy you beat to win the belt on 2 weeks' notice when he was ranked 3. Other than that, who you beat? Nobody." And then Jamal responded, "Bro, you got slept by OSP, and you see what I did to him. You can't cut it at the top, and you struggling in the B leagues. I lost one fight in my life due to injury. You took naps. We not the same. My resume will always read champion at the top, at the end of the day. I will beat your ass." Damn, shots fired from Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. He definitely won that exchange there with Corey Anderson. But yeah, I don't know. Corey saying that like he's beaten nobody, that's kind of an invalid statement, because okay, he beat Walker. That's exactly who Anderson also beat, and he beat Glover, so they do share common opponents. And he also did beat OSP, who did put Corey Anderson to sleep. That's right. And more than likely, Jamal is probably going to beat Yuri Prochazka. And Jamal is more than capable of beating Magomed Ankalaev. I'd honestly favor Hill over a lot of the guys I would favor over Corey Anderson. And if Corey Anderson and Jamahal Hill were to fight, I would pick Jamahal Hill, because his takedown defense is massively improved. And he's so much of a better striker. He hits too hard. He's too accurate. And Corey Anderson is not really known to be very durable. And I don't think his chin would hold up like Glover did. Like, if he had to take the shots that Teixeira did in that fight whilst getting his takedowns nullified, he's getting knocked out under 2 rounds. Like, that head kick that rocked Glover would have Corey Anderson unconscious. Same way Ovince St. Preux did. So, yeah, I'd say Jamahal Hill is definitely the better fighter than Corey Anderson. And I'd say he wins the argument with this one as well. He dropped some good logic in his video. And yeah, Corey, you're not even the best in your own organization. Vadim Nemkov is better, and he's going to win the trilogy. So this is kind of a pointless argument. Like, until you beat Nemkov and win the Bellator light heavyweight title, you kind of have no room to talk because you've never been a champion at anything in any MMA organization. So yeah, and Jamahal Hill is the champion, and winning a UFC title is more valuable than winning a Bellator title. I'm just saying. And quite frankly, you have no room to crap on Jamal's resume when, again, your UFC resume, other than Blachowicz and Glover, is not that impressive. You've mainly beat Cans, and then, yeah, you beat Walker, fair play. But that's about it. Who else have you beat? Other than Glover, who have you beat? You can say that about Jamal all you want. But who have you beat other than Glover and other than Jan Blachowicz when he was green? You didn't beat Jan Blachowicz in his prime. You know what I'm saying? You beat a young Johnny Walker, a different Johnny Walker. I think Jamal might have beaten the better version of Johnny Walker. Because look how well that win aged for Jamahal Hill. And that win, it aged like wine. And whereas Hill is most likely going to go out there and get a title defense against Yuri, who's stylistically kind of tailor-made for him to beat, he'll have already won the belt and defended it before you will have ever won the Bellator light heavyweight title, because I think Nemkov is going to beat you again. Like I said, you're not even the best in your own organization. So if you're not even the best in Bellator, how are you even the best light heavyweight in the world? You cannot put yourself above Jamahal Hill or any of the other top UFC fighters. You're not above any of the top 5 guys in the UFC. I don't think beating Glover or Jan makes you the best light heavyweight or above Jamahal Hill. Just saying. And yeah, if that fight were to happen, even though it won't, because the UFC doesn't cross-promote, Corey's not coming back to the UFC, Hill's not going to Bellator, it's safe to say that Jamahal Hill most likely sparks Corey Overtime Anderson. And yeah, Jamal, he spat some facts in that video. I'm going to link it in the description down below. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, and peace out.